Fit to Love, episode 86, Improving Your Energy Naturally.
Fit to Love is physical, emotional, and spiritual fitness to achieve the happy life you deserve. From exercise to cooking, relationships, and spirituality, you'll find all the inspiration you need right here with our host, JJ Flazane.
Hello and welcome to Fit to Love Wellness Wednesdays. Today's show, Improving Your Energy Level Naturally. We have back a very special guest, Heather Lounsbury. Heather is the author of Fix Your Mood with Food and is a returning guest to the show. She did a fabulous podcast show with us earlier called Fix Your Mood with Food. So if you love today's show, go back and listen to that as well. She's got so much great information that can help everybody. She's one of Los Angeles' best-known acupuncturists and, like I said before, the author of Fix Your Mood with Food. She's also the powerhouse behind the Live Natural, Live Well brand, embracing a popular blog, YouTube videos, and weekly radio show. She is passionate about spreading the message of holistic living and empowering her patients to heal themselves. She's also attracted broad media attention from Psychology Today, Time, Fox News, Billboard Magazine, Vogue Germany, VegNews, Business Insider, Elite Traveler, and more. Welcome back, Heather.
Thanks for having me, JJ. I'm glad to be here.
Today's show, Improving Your Energy Level Naturally. As we started to record today, what hit me was that when people look at the title without the naturally part, they're just going to jump to the caffeine and the sugar and think that that's how people get energy. And in your experience, would you agree that most people just rush for the caffeine in order to get more energy?
Oh, absolutely. I'd say almost all of my patients have at least 1 cup of coffee a day when they first start coming to see me. Once I start working with them, they definitely cut back or completely get rid of their caffeine intake. And I can't tell you how many times when I've told people I don't do any caffeine except for like the occasional chocolate, people kind of stare at me in amazement, like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you that you're not having caffeine? It's this shock because everyone is so used to getting their energy from a place that's not actually good for you.
I go in and out of the coffee experience, limiting it to 8 ounces at max at the beginning of the day or somewhere before noon for sure. But I think for me, it's more of the ritual aspect than it is about the caffeine. And obviously, loads of caffeine can increase your adrenal fatigue and people having adrenal fatigue. So, caffeine in general. But in terms of other ways, and I'm not using the coffee to wake me up. It's that ritual cup, like today's a rainy day and having that. And I could have tea, but for some reason, tea is not as satisfying for me. So taking the coffee conversation off the table in terms of, yes, let's just put it out there right now for all of you that are listening, deriving your energy from coffee or having an addiction of coffee is an addiction and it isn't going to give you natural energy. So today's show, Heather's going to help us understand other ways. Now, of course, she's probably going to tell you to get rid of the coffee altogether and then use other ways. But let's just start looking at what can we do to increase our energy naturally? What should we avoid first and foremost?
Well, apart from caffeine, sugar is a big one, and then any refined or processed foods because it's harder on the body to metabolize those foods and it's going to make you more tired. And when you eat processed food, there's probably hidden sugars in there which give you this energy buzz and then you crash within a few hours. So it makes things actually worse for you.
So we've got avoiding caffeine, sugar, and processed foods.
I know you're an advocate of no grains or minimizing your grains. And if you feel like, for me, it's a matter of if you feel worse after you have a food, then don't eat it. So some people it's grains, some people it's dairy, some people it's meat. So if those foods make you feel worse within a few hours, then it's probably something you should avoid.
Got it. Definitely processed foods, 100%. Now, for the person listening that thinks sugar, seriously, I can't or won't give up sugar. Let's talk about some of the best and natural sugars that can be substitutes for, and what the conversation is around sugar.
Well, if you're going to have sugar, it should be in the form of fruit. That is definitely the best way. You're getting lots of nutrients, antioxidants, fiber, and you'll definitely increase your energy levels with fruit. You're fighting cancer with fruit. So if that to me is the ultimate way to eat sugar, and I do know and am friends with people who have a big chunk of their diet is fruit. I personally don't understand it or couldn't live that way, but they seem to be thriving. So if that works for you, that's something you can definitely do. But sugar in fruit form is always the best way.
Now, in terms of starches also turn into sugar. So we're talking about just refined sugar or anything that turns into sugar.
Well, definitely refined sugar and high fructose corn syrup. And I'm okay with people eating complex carbs and how that becomes sugar because it's slower to metabolize and it doesn't spike your insulin levels as much as if having something like white rice or white bread. But if it's something that you feel worse within a few hours of eating it, then limit or completely eliminate those from your diet.
If I'm someone that has a high carbohydrate and maybe a decent amount of sugar in my diet, but I'm willing to make some exchanges or I'm willing to take a deeper look into that, are you someone who recommends people use the glycemic index to compare foods to make a better choice?
The glycemic index is definitely a good way to map what you're putting into your body and how it's affecting your blood sugar levels. I actually just wrote an article about blood sugar imbalances. The more you spike your blood sugar, the more prone you're going to be to weight gain, fatigue, diabetes. So it's definitely a good idea to keep that to a minimum. And the glycemic index is, as a rule, is a good gauge for that.
Okay, good. So anyone's out there and you're thinking, I don't really want to give up everything altogether, just take a look at the glycemic index. You can find it online and compare your foods and pick the lower glycemic index. I actually, when I looked at it maybe not too long ago, I was shocked by some of the differences. Foods that you would assume had a higher sugar content because they were sweeter, but actually had a lower than some of the starchy carbohydrates that aren't sweet.
Yeah, something like apples you would think would be really high on the glycemic index, but they're not. And apples to me are super sweet.
That's a great sugar, apples. Okay, so what kind of foods then would I be eating in order to improve my energy level?
Well, first, make sure you're getting plenty of water, which none of my patients are hydrated when they first start coming to see me. So I'm assuming that's kind of a general rule for the population, and you probably see that with your clients. And because if you're dehydrated, you're going to crave more sugar. You're definitely going to have lower energy levels because your organs aren't getting the nourishment they need, and also your brain's not getting the nourishment it needs. So water, first and foremost. As a rule, you should be drinking about half your weight in ounces a day. So if you weigh 140 pounds, you should be having about 70 ounces of water a day. And if you drink coffee or exercise a lot and are sweating, you need to increase your water beyond that. And I'm talking water or herbal tea. I'm not talking about iced tea. I'm not talking about soda. I'm not, again, not talking about coffee when I'm talking about water. So that's a big one. And a great way to get energy in the morning is to have greens in your smoothie. That can be spinach or kale or other greens that you like, or you can get a powder has spirulina in it. That's a great way to get your energy levels and also lots of nutrients without the crash coming later.
For people that don't know what spirulina is, can you explain so they know what they're looking for and consuming?
Sure. Spirulina is a form of algae that is a great source of protein. It's a great source of chlorophyll, and chlorophyll mimics the blood in our body, so it helps build our blood, and the stronger your blood is, the more energy you're going to have. Spirulina comes in most of the green powders that you find out there. This is something you can get online if you don't have access to a health food store or a grocery store that carries powders with green powders.
Great. Yes. Spirulina in your smoothie or a green smoothie. And I actually have on Tasty Tuesday a green smoothie recipe, but there are so many. Really, it comes down to what will you digest, what will you eat, what will you consume, and try different variations and things in it. So that way you find what you like versus just tasting one and deciding it's not worth it. But greens absolutely are amazing. Now, that was 2. So we're on to another food that will help with improving your energy?
Well, actually, let me go back to the greens for a second. Greens at first in your smoothie might not taste so great, but your palate should change. So I would do small amounts to begin with and then gradually increase as you develop a liking for it. It's kind of like for those of you who do drink coffee, the first time you had it, it was probably pretty gross, and now you love it. So it's the same thing with green powders or putting green vegetables in your smoothie. So just adding that. And another way to increase your energy levels that I'm a fan of is kombucha tea. And that's another thing I know in LA, it's easy to get kombucha tea, but it's made from mushrooms and it's very tart. It's kind of like drinking a soda. So if you're a fan of soda, this might be another option for you without the caffeine. Kombucha is naturally low in sugar, and it gives a ton of energy. It helps promote weight loss. It helps with any inflammation or with your immune system as well. So I'm a big fan of kombucha for any of you who can find it in your local grocery store.
And if you can't, I may do a Tasty Tuesday on how to make your own homemade kombucha. While the homemade is not hard to make, it's very tasty to find all the different fun flavors in the store. And I've got a couple favorite brands of mine. Buka is a new brand that's out there that I like in Synergy. And kombucha is also a probiotic, so it'll help with digestion as well. So I love kombucha. And I made it for a while because I thought, oh, well, I drink it so much, I'll make it. And while making it's not a big deal, I couldn't keep up. And I thought, oh, forget this. I'll just pay the couple dollars. And because I couldn't get like the fun flavors that Buka has. They've got a pomegranate raspberry, which actually is sweet. And they do add some juice to that, I'm sure. But it's pretty low in calories. And it's still, again, for people that want the soda flavor, to me, that's the best, easiest transition. And then then there's one that's grapefruit and sage. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. So kombucha tea, I love it. It's fermented. It's a probiotic. I also recommend it. It's great for staving off your appetite too.
Yes, it is. And back to the probiotics. Probiotics are great for digestion, but they're also wonderful for your immune system and helping your mood. So if you are prone to anxiety or depression, getting a good source of probiotic should help alleviate those symptoms.
Excellent. I love that advice. Good. So there's another reason to search out a kombucha tea that you will drink and like. Now we're on 3. So what are the next 2?
Oh my goodness, where do I go from here? Well, I'd say on top of the smoothies, if you're not a smoothie fan or if you're living in a place that it's cold in the winter, unlike us spoiled Southern Californians, I would not have breakfast food for breakfast. That is usually a horrible way to start your day. Most breakfast foods are high in sugar, they're processed, they're greasy. So I know we were saying what to add, but I wanted to make sure that the breakfast starts off right. I personally will have a soup for breakfast where I get all of my nutrients and lots of veggies first thing in the morning to start my day off right. So, okay, soup. Let's go to soup.
I had soup for lunch today, that yummy vegetable soup that I believe you taught me years ago, and I've continued to use it.
Oh, that's good to know. So, yeah, soup is a wonderful way and a quick way to get all your veggies in, especially if you're not a fan of vegetables or have a really busy schedule and don't have much time to cook. You can make a nice big pot of soup at the beginning of the week, and it should last several days. I like to throw in a bunch of veggies and garlic and onions and a vegetable broth or miso broth and just cook it for 15 minutes, puree it, and it's delicious. You can't really go wrong that way.
And there is a Tasty Tuesday episode with veggie soup for any of you that want to come see how it's done. And I believe Heather was one of the main contributors to that recipe and menu that I learned many, many years ago. So, and Heather, I also want you to talk about it from the warmth of a breakfast, from the acupuncturist Chinese medicine standpoint, because I know most of people are cereals and cold things. And I know that there's probably a big difference in how our body reacts to something warm versus something cold first thing in the morning. So can you educate people about that?
That's a great question. In Chinese medicine, it is important to eat warm foods to help nourish your digestion and help aid your spleen and metabolism. So if you start your morning off with something cold like cereal, it's going to slow down your metabolism for the rest of the day. So when I make a smoothie, I add some ginger to it most days because ginger helps warm up the quality of the smoothie and gets my spleen and metabolism going.
What about, because I've been having the urge for warm. I eat eggs for breakfast most of the time, and I also vacillate between a vegan raw protein powder. And recently, I haven't felt like having the cold from the protein powder. What about having like hot lemon water or something before that? Would that help?
Yeah, having hot lemon water, having a warm tea, and would be a great way to start off your day to kind of counteract if you are having something cold or craving something warm. You could also do raw apple cider vinegar in warm water. I know that's definitely an acquired taste as well, but that's great for your immune system and energy levels.
Let's talk about apple cider vinegar. What other properties and benefits would we get from having apple cider vinegar?
Well, it's very good at boosting your immune system, so that's great. It's also wonderful for fighting cancer. It helps with any inflammation. So if you have any injuries, it helps minimize injuries and the pain from them. And it also helps with metabolism. So if you have a slow metabolism, a raw apple cider vinegar will help with that. It has so many healing properties that I actually have a whole section in my book on the healing properties of raw apple cider vinegar. And that's definitely a great way to start off your day.
Excellent. Awesome. Now, as you can all, I'm sure, hear, Heather has a book called Fix Your Mood with Food, and some of these things are in that book. Like she said, she's a whole section on apple cider vinegar. So if you want more information, you can check out Heather's book, Fix Your Mood with Food. We have another question about supplements. So I want to ask you, what kinds of supplements would you prefer for helping people with energy? But before we do that, we do need to take a break to thank our sponsors. Get the hottest tips and latest trends for your business success with today's Innovative Woman magazine, a free print and online digital magazine. Plus, receive the special bonus video series, Platforms for Profit, the must-have marketing essentials for outrageous success, taught by media and marketing strategist Kathy Alessandra. Who is today's innovative woman? She's a smart and savvy business owner. She is driven and committed to success. She invests in herself and her business on everything from products to grow her knowledge, services to grow her business, and events to learn and connect with potential clients and customers. You can claim your free subscription today and get it mailed to your home or office at today'sinnovativewoman.com. Do you commit to an exercise program every year and then give up within the first 60 days? Are you ready to be accountable to yourself and uncover the personalized changes that will work for you long term? Consider the 30-Day Jumpstart Program. The biggest factor for success with weight loss and lifestyle change is accountability. Studies show that people who are accountable to a coach or trainer not only see results within the first 30 to 60 days, but are more successful with long-term weight loss. Visit the products page on fit2love.tv to learn more about the 30-Day Jumpstart Program and to get started today. All right, Heather, so what supplements do you prefer or not prefer for people to take that would help increase their energy naturally?
Well, a big one is, again, the probiotics that we mentioned earlier. And I recommend people taking a probiotic on a regular basis, even if they haven't recently taken antibiotics. So taking a probiotic in a non-dairy form is a great way to increase your energy levels and boost your immunity. My favorite brands, New Chapter is a great one, but they're obsolete right now. So Yarrow and Country Life and Dr. Hero are all really great probiotic brands.
All right. Are there any other supplements?
Absolutely. A B complex, a vitamin B complex, is a wonderful way to increase your energy levels without the buzz of caffeine or sugar. A B complex will help support your adrenal glands, and most people who have low energy levels or tend to get fatigued in the afternoon need to support those adrenal glands. And it also helps you deal with stress better when you're taking a B complex, which is always a plus.
Great. So we've got probiotics daily, a B complex. Do we have a recommended dosage for the B complex?
Well, dosage, I would follow whatever instructions are on the bottle, and definitely look for an organic, whole foods B complex. A lot of supplements on the market now are very poor quality. They have lots of fillers in them. They're not organic, and they come from sources which we actually can't even absorb. So a lot of times you'll see on the back of a vitamin bottle, it'll say 200%, 300% of your daily allowance. And that's because when it's a poor quality vitamin, you can only absorb about 10% of what's in there. So definitely look for a Whole Foods brand, not Whole Foods, the store, but coming from Whole Foods. My favorite is New Chapter.
Okay. And are there anything people need to look for? Will it say whole food on the label?
It should say Whole Foods in some way. You can always ask if you go to your vitamin shop or if you go to your local grocery store, you can ask the person in the supplement section to help you find one that's a Whole Foods source. And it should say in some way that it's a Whole Foods on there. And if it doesn't, then I would question whether or not it's a good quality.
Okay. So any other supplements?
Well, those are the two big ones. And vitamin C is something I don't know if you, it depends on the person if you need to take it every single day, but vitamin C is a wonderful way to beautify your skin, give you energy, prevent illness, and also reduce inflammation in the body. So vitamin C is definitely a great supplement to take.
Now, I want you to also educate people who are listening about one of my favorite ways to improve my energy level naturally that has nothing to do with food or supplements, and that would be acupuncture,
Yay.
which is your specialty. So can you please enlighten us on that?
Okay. Well, I'll try to simplify it as much as I can in the time we have left. But Chinese medicine, the whole purpose is to prevent illness. It obviously can treat illness, but it's all about preventing. And with that, it increases your energy levels naturally and your immune system. What happens when you have low energy? There's an imbalance somewhere in your body. A lot of times it's the spleen that I mentioned earlier and getting that metabolism going. And acupuncture is wonderful for supporting the spleen and building qi, which is your body's energy source. And when you don't have a lot of energy or tend to crash later on or have thyroid issues, it's usually because you don't have enough qi in your body. And acupuncture is an incredible way to boost the qi. And it also helps you, as you know very well, JJ, it helps you have a half an hour break from the world. So just that 30-minute break can give you tons of energy because most of us, unfortunately, don't take time out to just decompress and turn off our phones and get away from it all for half an hour.
Absolutely. I used to fall asleep in my acupuncture treatments. So I am a big proponent. Someone today, one of my clients asked me about it and when do I do it? What do I do it for? And I said, I do it as often as I can, ideally once a week as a maintenance, as part of my wellness maintenance program. And if not once a week, every other week, but it's like exercise. It's not something that you're better off when you have it. When I was in the most stressful time in my life, I was going to acupuncture regularly and I never got sick. And then the minute I stopped going, I got sick. Like, it kept me, because of the chi and increasing my chi naturally, it kept the stress a little bit more balanced. Now I don't live like that anymore, but back then it was a very obvious difference when I wasn't having treatments because my body couldn't handle, I wasn't producing enough chi and I wasn't sleeping and resting and balancing out everything enough. So if you're listening and you're having those issues and you think you eat pretty well, then the next recommendation I think we both would make is to get some treatments. So if you live in Southern California or you want to have Heather come to you, Heather, what's the phone number they can reach you at if they want to get a treatment?
My office number is 310-259-5165. That's 310-259-5165.
So tell everybody who's listening other ways that they can get more information from you, help from you, about your show and your book and your website.
Well, my website is livenaturallivewell.com. And if you go there, you will find ways to buy the book. You will find how to find my radio show. It's all inclusive. And I give lots of great health tips on my blog, which is also part of the site. So if you heard something today that you were interested in and want to find out more Most likely I've written an article about it, so definitely check out my site for that. And my radio show, I have everything archived on my site. And future shows, you can go to blogtalkradio.com to find out, and just look me up and you'll find out how I can help.
Excellent. I would absolutely recommend that you reach out to Heather for helping to improve your energy level naturally and to fix your mood with food, and to buy her fabulous book. So Heather, thank you again for being here, and for, now that I'm realizing it, helping me with that soup recipe so many years ago, that inspiration. I'm pretty sure that was you.
Yes.
And I went, ooh, I love this. And I've been making it for so long that I forgot until right now. So thank you.
My pleasure. I'm so glad you're getting something out of it still.
Absolutely. And now I'm sharing it with everyone else. So I appreciate the information, education, and I loved having you back. Thanks you again so much.
Thanks for having me, JJ.
Break the vicious cycle of emotional eating and take back your power over food with Dr. Lisa Gelper. Visit her site at poweroverfood.com to read her articles, watch her videos, sign up for her monthly email tips, and check out her current classes. Having a hard time losing weight even when you eat well and exercise? You may have weight loss resistance. The Metabolic Makeover audio program will uncover the 7 factors of weight loss resistance and guide you towards identifying what to do about it. Visit the products page on fittolove.tv to download it now. The Fit to Love podcast show offers you 6 days a week of helpful content to achieve the happy life you deserve. Movement Mondays and Tasty Tuesdays are weekly videocasts, while Wellness Wednesdays, Thoughtful Thursdays, Freedom Fridays, and Sexy Saturdays are audio-only shows themed every week to address your holistic life and needs. If the show inspired you, we would love for you to share it and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us today. Head on over to fittolove.tv for recaps of every show, resources, and to join the community. That's FIT, the number 2, LOVE.tv. Have a fit and fabulous day.